Hello and welcome to this match preview for Southampton's trip away to Hull City. Now obviously the international break is over, football is back, it is saved because international football is so boring. We're back away to Hull City, obviously off the back of that draw with Rotherham where end of the world, we're shit, no top 10 finish, we suck, Russell Martin shite, Bazunu sucks, centre back suck, we can't shoot for shit, keeper was good, you know, all these things, you know, tiki-taka with no actual purpose in play, even though we dominated them, even though he made a bunch of saves there, Rotherham's keeper, but no, we suck. Yeah, enough of that. That's basically the review done, according to Twitter fans, but in reality, dominant performance against Rotherham. Unlucky not to come away with 3 points. Obviously, mistake defensively cost us a goal, and obviously a mixture of good keeping from Rotherham's keeper, of course, and obviously lack of clinical finishing, I'll say. But now looking forward to the Hull City game, we're tied on points, so 9th versus 10th, if I could speak. I mean, it should be a close game, technically, I guess. Hull City only won one of their last 5 games. We've had a little uptick in form. Obviously, we lost like 4 in a row, was it? Was it 4 in a row? Yeah, 4 in a row because we've had 4 losses. So 4 in a row. Then we had 2 wins back-to-back, and then obviously a draw against Rotherham, which was a good performance. So it's sort of Hull City slightly wavering in form. We're slightly picking it up. Who knows what will happen, obviously, after the international break, whether we will improve even more or get worse somehow. But looking at this, basically, Hull City and us, similar levels of goals scored. Conceded, a different story, obviously, because we ship way too many goals. We're second highest. Rotherham, thank you for existing, to make us not the worst defence in the league, so I appreciate that. But in reality, we can score goals, but we love to concede goals. When you're sitting 10th on 17 points, winning more games than losing, and you've got a negative 4 goal difference, I mean, that kind of sums it up. Our defence has been shocking, and now that Harwood-Bellis is out, Stevens, I think, is out still. I don't know how long for, though. I can't remember how many games Russell Martin said he would be missing, but this video is recorded before the press conference with Russell Martin, so I don't know the updates on the Harwood-Bellis injury, how long it is, or, you know, when Stevens come back. So that's really a big loss because I feel like him and Bednarik were starting to build a partnership. I think against Rotherham, they were pretty good until that one error that cost us the goal. But other than that, I think those two are pretty good. Obviously, Stevens coming back as well. Stevens, maybe Harwood-Bellis being our best centre-back partnership. I mean, we'll wait and see until they're both fit again, of course. But yeah, looking into this game now. We'll just go straight into lineups, I reckon, because why not? Bazunu in goal, because personally for me, like, yes, Bazunu, he's, you know, when I protect Bazunu from the haters, I'm protecting him because not every goal is his fault. I mean, there's a lot of fans that think it's in the back of the net, therefore the keeper should save it. Not exactly how football works, but, you know, you stick to Twitter, I guess. In reality, Bazunu is not an Allison. He's not an Edison. He's not one of the best keepers in the world. He's not one of the best keepers in the league. Okay? That's pretty obvious, right? And I hope no one's thinking that. Yes, he could have potential to be one of the best keepers in the league or be a great keeper in the Premier League or whatever that is. But at the current moment in his career, he's not one of the best in the league. I don't expect him to save everything that comes his way. I do expect him to save, you know, the things you'd expect a professional keeper to save, right? And most of the time, there's been a few goals this season where you can say, yeah, should have saved that or whatever, or it's his mistake. Like against Rotherham, it was half his mistake, half the defensive, you know, centre-back pairing mistake that cost us that goal. So it's not exactly always his fault when we concede. There's been a lot of games against Sunderland, against Leicester, where we shipped 9 goals, and honestly, a lot of them were not his fault at all. And if anything, Bazunu basically saved us from getting absolutely humiliated, which would be like 6-1, 7-1, something like that. But he's not, again, he's not a world-class keeper. He's not going to save everything, so I don't expect him to. But the blame he's getting compared to his performances is a bit ridiculous. Some of the blame he's getting is outrageous, really. I mean, he just gets blamed for every goal we concede, when a majority, I'd say maybe rough estimate, 90% of the goals we've conceded this season, 85 to 90% have not been his fault. Have been the fault of the midfield or defence. So, in reality, Bazunu on goal, because I'd rather not have Alex McCarthy trying to play out from the back. Okay? Moving on, right back, obviously Walker Peters. Don't need to say anything. Centre backs with Harwood Bellas out. Stevens obviously still out. The question is, would you play Shay Charles? Charles? I can't speak. Shay Charles at centre half or the GOAT, Mason Holgate? Because that's the question. Because obviously with the 2 injuries, we don't have our best pairing. Obviously Bednarek's going to play. That's guaranteed. You got a choice of Shay Charles, who's not really a centre back but can play centre back, and then you got Mason Holgate, who's done so well since joining us. So the question for me is, personally, would I prefer to play a person who can do a job at centre back but isn't naturally a centre back, or I'd rather play a guy who's naturally a centre back, kind of dodgy? Difficult question. But for me personally, I'm a big believer of play players in their natural role before you play someone else in it, if you know what I mean. So Mason Holgate is a centre-back. He's had, weeks and weeks and weeks to work over the international break as well. Weeks to work. Hopefully he's not shanked still, maybe slightly better. So I would probably say Holgate to play. I don't like saying that. This reminds me of like saying Yenny B to start in the Prem like 2 years ago. I'd say Holgate to start with Yenny B, because I'm just not a fan of playing people out of position. Like Shay Charles, yes, he could probably do a good job at centre-back. We've seen him play centre-back, but he's a defensive mid. So I'd rather him stay away from centre-half. Obviously, moving on to left-back, Manning, no other option. Everyone hates him, but he's like similar to Perot. Offensively, pretty decent. Defensively, a bit dodgy. I mean, that's just how it is. But, no other option to play. No other people to replace him with, really. The only option is to play Walker Peters left back. And who are you playing right back? Bree? Probably not. Holgate? Probably not. So, yeah. Manning left back. Obviously a 4-3-3, as we normally play. Defensive mid has to be Downs. I mean, he was excellent against Rotherham, even though he sucks, according to fans. Again, he was absolutely everywhere, especially in the first half. Absolutely dominant in the midfield. He called out the fans, facts, by the way. He was speaking facts about the reception they got after drawing with Rotherham after a dominant performance. And I'm on the same page as him. It's a disgrace, okay? We dominated game. We didn't win. What do you do da? Like, shit happens. It's football. It's not fucking FIFA. You can't just fucking cheat your way to a win when you have 30 shots. Like, get over it. Shit happens. Sometimes the luck's on their side. Sometimes it's on your side. We've had games we've had luck this season. We've games we haven't had luck this season. It's football. Shit happens, right? So, moving on to midfield. I think Smallbone has to play. He was excellent against Leeds. And I think he was good against Rotherham as well. I think majority of the team was good against Rotherham. Again, obviously not winning the game leaves a sort of a sour taste in your mouth. But in reality, Smallbone has to start. And obviously Alcaraz has to start as well. He's our creative player. Preferably, let's not pass the ball to him in our half. Preferably, because he'll probably do something risky. But when he's in the final third, when he's in the opposition half, that's when he can flourish. So, yeah, just fuck off down there, Alcaraz, and we'll leave the defensive side of the game to other players. But yeah, Alcaraz has to play. I think our record with him is pretty good, right, when he starts. I don't think we've lost when he starts, or something like that. I don't know. I'm just waffling. Moving on to the front three. Now, I think it's pretty obvious who's going to play striker. Adam Armstrong. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I think Che Adams... I personally think Che Adams is a better striker than Adam Armstrong, but clearly could be a mixture of Che Adams, head's gone, fuck off, I want to leave, fuck Sandon, which is fair. And then obviously a part of it could be he doesn't really fit the system as well as Adam Armstrong does. So obviously Adam Armstrong will start. He's been scoring, he's been decent. Che Adams has sort of been off the pace a bit, so he definitely won't start. Wingers wise, Sulemana has to start. I mean, he's been excellent. He's just fucking destroying the fullbacks. It's just obviously the final third, he's got to be more clinical, got to be more decisive in his play. But he's young, you know, that's going to come. But would I rather play him or Fraser? I mean, I was going to say Alanusi, but he's gone. Fuck, who can I blame now? Suleiman, obviously, yeah. So he has to start. Really, left wing is a competition between Suleiman and Edozie. I feel kind of bad for Edozie because Suleiman is fucking good. And Edozie's been good this season as well, but Suleiman is just so good. You can't really play both of them because they're too attacking. And I think defensively, we need to sort out our defence first before we can focus on sort of scoring more goals. So I would say Suleiman starts, Edozie won't start. Right wing, I think Stuart Armstrong should start. I mean, that sort of team has cooked, really. Suleimana, Adam Armstrong, Stuart Armstrong, and then Alcaraz is sort of a 4. It's been cooking. I mean, it has been cooking. Rotherham got cooked. We just didn't get the win. Cooked against Leeds. Stoke City was a bit of a dodgy game. Grind out result, but obviously you can't be brilliant every game. We still sort of won that comfortably. We had a few good chances, but I think though that front 4 is dangerous, and I think they will cause issues for Hull. But again, away games are always difficult. You never know how we're going to play. Like at home, it's like FM. You load up FM, you're playing at home, you go, fuck, I don't give a shit who I can play Man City home. I'm fucking attacking these cunts. I'm just going to go press attack, fuck yeah. And you'll probably win. And then you play them away from home, you go, oh, I'll play balance and get shafted 6-0. You know, so it's like that sort of thing. When you're away from home, you play a bit more cautious. When you're at home, you just fucking run up the muck and just destroy them. So we'll probably play more cautious, but I don't think that will change our personnel. The only change I could possibly think of, but he's not going to do it, will be Shea Charles and Downs in midfield instead of maybe a Smallbone or an Alcaraz, depending on what he's feeling. Because I feel like Shea Charles and Downs will give us a lot of defensive security, but obviously the balance may be off. It would depend if Downs or Charles can sort of play that box-to-box or tempo controller in the midfield. And obviously you'd have Alcaraz just fucking off doing whatever he wants, as a 10 does. But I don't think he's going to do that, and I don't think we'll really see that this season. It could be an interesting thing to see, but I doubt Russell Martin would even give it a go. So that will be the team. Decent team. It's all a matter of just, can we not give them a goal? Like, can we not just go, oh, Hull City, fucking, here's a goal. Like, can we just not do that for, like, the 17th time this season? But, yeah, now we'll move on to predictions. And I hate doing predictions because I was getting them fucking wrong. Basically, I don't think I've got one right this season. I think the only one I got right was Sheffield Wednesday, first game of the season. Other than that, absolute shite, really. Okay, Hull City away. They're in dodgy form. We're in not as dodgy form. I want to back the boys just off the base of that Rotherham performance. I think that was a real turning point. I know Rotherham aren't the greatest team in the league, fine. I understand that, right? They're not fucking Man City. But in reality, it was a very, very, very dominant performance. Obviously, we didn't win, but that's football sometimes. But a dominant performance off the back of 2 wins. Hull City wobbling a little bit. They're not lost like 4 in a row, right? They've just not won many recently. So I'll say 2-1 because we won't keep a clean sheet. It's borderline impossible for us to keep a clean sheet, no matter who we play. I'm just edging it. Really, it's a guess. I mean, that's what prediction is. It's supposed to be an educated guess, but I'm not educated, so it's a guess. I'll go 2-1 to us. Now I've said that, we're going to fucking lose because I don't get it right ever. But yeah, 2-1. Let me know your predictions as well. I'll put a community post up if I fucking remember. I always forget. Every time I upload this video, I forget to do it because I'm fucking stupid. So yeah, 2-1. Let me know your predictions, your teams that team sheet you want to see. And obviously I'll be live for the watch along. I don't even know when it's playing. To be honest, I haven't checked, but it'll be early in the morning and I want to fucking commit by the time it comes around. But it is what it is. And I'll see you boys in another video. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.